Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It feels nice out there. Our muggy meter right there at comfy. This is unusual for this time of year. I'll show you how many days it's going to feel like this.
Plus, Durham police are looking for someone they say shot a 21-year-old woman and seriously injured her. This is the second shooting on Guest Road in the last week.
And two emergency landings at RDU within hours of each other. Coming up, what we're learning about the aftermath of one of those flights this morning.
Yeah, we have a lot of different stories, including, of course, those two planes making those diversions, emergency landings at RDU. We'll dive into that in just a second. We want to first greet you by saying good morning and thanks for joining us here on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, we made it to Wednesday, made it halfway through the week. It's going to be another hot day out there. It's really nice right now. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look over Pinehurst.
Yeah, looking beautiful here at Pinehurst Resort and Country Club. They're about to be real busy here as we get into June with a major tournament coming. A little bit of cloud cover there this morning. We're mainly seeing mostly partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. Just a little patchy cloud there in Pinehurst. 70 degrees in the Triangle. Our dew point is 59, so it feels very comfortable outside right now. It is 68 in Fayetteville and in Goldsboro, 61 in Roxborough, 69 in Southern Pines. Tomorrow morning is likely to be even cooler with temperatures starting off in the 50s. Now, it is warm this afternoon. Highs climb into the mid-80s. It does stay dry. I'll show you what's bringing us this unusually cool weather coming up. Eric?
Elizabeth, there is no sugarcoating this one. If you were coming in from Knightdale, Wendell, Points East, it is going to be a long commute for you this morning. Taking a live look outside right now, I-87 in the Neuse River. You can see the culprit right there. This crash has the left lane closed as you're headed into the city. RPD, DOT crews on scene there as well. We're still working to learn exactly how bad that crash was, if there were any injuries, but we do know it is going to have a major impact on your commute here, adding about 30 minutes to the drive time as you're headed in from Knightdale. It might save you about 5 minutes if you come down here, take Pool Road across instead of trying to stay on I-87, but that only will save you about 5 minutes. That's a major slowdown there. We're also following another crash that's going to be up here on 540 in the vicinity of Capitol Boulevard. You can see those delays here building in for miles there. Taking a live look there at Lewisburg Road. You can see that traffic slowing as it approaches that turn up to Capitol. Keep that in mind if you're headed that way this morning.
And this morning, passengers on a JetBlue flight are safe after their plane had to make an emergency landing late last night. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from RDU. Kelsey, we're still working to learn why the diversion happened.
We are, Chris, and this morning as planes are taking off here at RDU, we're learning a little bit more information about what happened late last night. Airport officials say the runway where the plane landed has now reopened, but let's give you a look now at video from when that plane landed just around 11 o'clock last night. We're working to find out why the flight was diverted here for that emergency landing. We checked FlightAware to find the plane's original destination. We believe this flight was headed to Fort Lauderdale from Boston, according to the site. That plane landed in Fort Lauderdale about an hour ago, so we're working to find out if passengers were on board. RDU says no one was injured during the emergency landing. We've reached out to JetBlue about information regarding the situation, but we're still waiting to hear back. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
And that was the second emergency landing at RDU within hours. Airport management says a small plane was diverted earlier in the evening when its nose gear wasn't working. That prompted other flights to be diverted and delayed as well. A couple, along with their twin daughters and 4 dogs, were on that Piper PA-32 plane. The pilot is a retired Army colonel from the Fuquay-Varina area.
A woman was seriously injured during a shooting in Durham. Officers responded to Guest Road near Broad Street for a shots fired call, and that happened just before 10:30 last night. Investigators say they later learned a 21-year-old woman walked into a hospital with a gunshot wound, and her injuries are said to be life-threatening. This video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows you the large amount of evidence markers that were on the scene there. This is the second shooting on Guest Road in the last week.
And police in Garner are trying to find a man they say shot a 23-year-old woman. The shooting happened on Avery Street at about 9 o'clock last night. Police say the man shot the woman in the arm. They say he then jumped into a car someone else was driving and they took off. Officers later found that car in Raleigh, but nobody was in it. The woman is expected to be okay.
We have just a tragic update to a Garner crash that killed 2 young parents. Family members say the couple's 8-year-old son did not survive. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Garner. And Laura, we know that boy will become an organ donor.
We are here back at the scene of where the tragedy occurred. The family of Miles Campbell says that he was declared brain dead a little after 6 o'clock last night, and he will become an organ donor. They believe that is what his parents would have wanted. I want you to take a look at this video from Lions Field, where the Little League baseball team that Miles was a part of held a moment of silence and prayer and vigil for the family. Then there was a second vigil at Snap Kick Martial Arts. This is where Miles also spent a lot of his time taking those martial arts classes. The family of the Campbells shared this statement online. Family and friends from both sides of the family want to thank everyone for their prayers, thoughts, and tears through this traumatic time. Tyler, Susie, and Miles were loved beyond what can be expressed in words, and they will be missed tremendously. Garner police say the impaired driver in this case, Jordan Porter, will face additional charges. We will let you know once we learn what those charges will be. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Garner.
Police in Wilson's Mills are saying a person was injured during an attempted armed robbery. This happened this morning around 1:45 at a home on Maple Tree Lane. Investigators say 2 people entered the home, but they ran off without stealing anything. A person in the home was assaulted with a weapon, and investigators say that person was treated on scene.
Today, the jury in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial will begin their deliberations. The trial will resume at 10 o'clock this morning. The defense and prosecution both wrapped up their closing arguments yesterday. In his closing statement, Trump's lead lawyer tried to paint key defense witness Michael Cohen as a liar. He said the prosecution's case failed to meet the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Prosecutors argue the former president falsified business records to cover up what was essentially an illegal campaign contribution to help get him elected.
Just a heads up for you drivers who use I-440. At midnight, workers closed the on-ramp from Hillsborough Street onto I-440. That ramp will stay closed for at least 3 months. You'll now have to take Hillsborough to Blue Ridge Road and then Wade Avenue to get onto 440 East. And yes, detour signs are posted. New this morning, the FAA says 2 people aboard a plane that crashed in Cumberland County suffered serious injuries. The administration recently released its preliminary report, and it also revealed another person's injuries were minor. The agency says the cause of the crash, that is still unknown. The plane was from Cape Fear Aviation Flight Training School, and authorities say it hit trees and crashed shortly after taking off from Grace Creek Airport.
Today, Durham City Council will review the proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The city manager's proposed budget includes a property tax increase of about 4 cents that would support increased city worker pay. A recent study found that city employees were making below market rate. The work session gets started at 9 o'clock this morning, and another is scheduled for tomorrow. A public hearing is scheduled for next Monday at 7 p.m.
A ramp from I-40 to US 70 on exit 309 on 40 West will close tonight for construction. It'll close tonight at 11 and is expected to reopen tomorrow morning by about 5 o'clock. Drivers on 40 West will be detoured to take exit 312A to access US 70 just outside Clayton. This overnight construction is part of the I-40 widening project from southeast Raleigh to Clayton.
We have another traffic alert in Wake County as the Special Olympics North Carolina torch makes its way from Zebulon to New Bern Avenue in Raleigh. The run started at 7 o'clock. You can expect some delays until 11 a.m. along the route. This is all leading up to the torch lighting and opening ceremony for the Special Olympics North Carolina Summer Games. That's in Raleigh next week.
Coming up, North Korea is sending packages of trash to South Korea. What's inside these floating balloons of trash and why North Korea says it's sending them.
And a future with semi-trucks driven by no one is in the works. A look at the new venture and a highway that could charge trucks as they drive.
And checking the 7-day forecast, it's going to be a warm day today, but look at these cool temperatures headed our way. Overnight lows in the 50s and a high of 79 on Friday. I'll show you why we'll be so cool and when we start to warm things up coming up.
Welcome back. Time now 8:12 on your Wednesday morning. This is a live look over Wilson. Beautiful blue skies. That's going to be the story for today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has plenty of blue sky behind her. It's all around town. It looks great out there.
It does. Beautiful out there. We have a few passing clouds here and there. And in our northeastern counties, we might see a quick sprinkle this evening. And I'll explain that over the next couple of minutes. But certainly beautiful this morning. There's a look at Goldsboro, Apex, looking gorgeous. Chapel Hill is completely clear, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant and some nice dappled sunshine there in Fayetteville. All right, so let's take a look at meteorological spring. And you may be thinking, well, summer doesn't start until, like the 20th, 21st of June, which is true on the calendar. But meteorologically, we consider spring to be the entire month of March, April, and May. And that meteorological summer starts on June 1st, which, of course, is this weekend. So how are we looking for spring so far? If it's felt warm, well, you're right on target. The record warmest at RDU at 4.5 degrees above normal. And when we talk about the average temperature, we're talking about the average temperature as a whole, not the average high temperatures, but the highs and lows all together. How about rainfall? Well, it was a very dry April, but we've really made up for it this month. We're still going to end spring with just probably about an inch behind, which is not bad, especially compared to where we were. Here's what's happening right now. We have nice dry conditions thanks to a high pressure system, but there is a low that's up here across the Ohio Valley, dropping a little bit of rain down into parts of West Virginia. That may swing a little bit of cloud cover through our northeastern counties. Take a look at Futurecast, and we'll see variably cloudy skies, partly cloudy on and off, little cloud cover here and there. But watch what happens around 6 or 7. It was tiny little showers from Rocky Mount north and east, and that's going to happen between, say, 7 and 10. Not going to be anything of much concern, but again, you might see a sprinkle there. Look at this beautiful weekend in our forecast, starting Friday at 79, 82 Saturday, and 85 on Sunday. And each of these days, the humidity still stays fairly low. Now, it is a fairly long, dry period, so you may need to start watering your garden or possibly your yard. But generally, we're still looking really good. Anywhere from 100 to about 150% of the normal rainfall that we should see in the last 30 days. Looking ahead through June 12th, we do have maybe a small chance of above normal precipitation. Temperatures start to creep up too as we get into the middle of June, back to a chance of above normal temperatures. So enjoy this while we have it. 81 on Thursday, 79 Friday, and 82 on Saturday, all below normal. The morning lows are going to feel great too, in the 50s to low 60s. And then we are back to a little bit of reality by next Tuesday. Eric.
Elizabeth, taking a look at traffic here at 8:15. We're down to just the one crash on the map. Unfortunately, that is one crash that's having a big impact on the drive times from Knightdale, Wendell, and Points East. Taking a live look, this is I-87 at the Neuse River. You can see the crash itself right there. The left lane completely shut down for drivers heading towards Raleigh. Just within the last 10 minutes, we've had an ambulance turn up on that scene. You can just see it there in the background. So what's this going to mean for your drive? If you're coming in from Knightdale, this is adding about 30 minutes to your drive time. And unfortunately, all of those alternate routes, you see Pool Road right here, blocked up, red and yellow as well. Same story as we talk about New Bern Avenue up there. So you're going to have to plan and bake this into your drive today. Just know it's going to take more time because unfortunately that main route and your potential alternate routes, those are all blocked up here this morning. We'll be continuing to keep a close eye on this crash. We'll let you know as soon as things clear up here with another check of the traffic here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Eric. Police in Raleigh are working to figure out who vandalized the NC State bell tower. The incident was caught on the school's bell tower camera just before 1:30 Tuesday morning. We saw people in dark clothing spray painting Free Palestine and Eyes on Rafah around the base of the tower there. Crews removed that paint yesterday.
This is a sacred military memorial. So many of our students don't know that. They know what the bell tower looks like. They know where it is, but they cannot tell you why it's there.
The university is still working to identify the people involved.
The Pentagon says it is rushing to fix a floating pier used to bring aid shipments to southern Gaza. That pier was damaged in recent rough weather there. While it's being fixed, the U.S. is suspending aid shipments that rely on the sea route. Officials say the repairs could take more than a week. That's on top of the time needed to re-anchor the pier on the coast. But for now, thousands of tons of supplies are waiting on the nearby island of Cyprus.
North Korea is sending floating bags of trash to South Korea carried by big balloons. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff shared these photos. They say the military has detected more than 150 balloons as of this morning. The images show what looks to be plastic, sheets of paper, and dirt spilling from the packages onto roads and sidewalks. North Korea says the move is a way to retaliate against the South Korean activists who often send leaflets, food, medicine, and USB sticks to the north.
Pro golfer Lexi Thompson says she is ending her professional golf career because of her mental health. She told reporters at the Women's U.S. Open the game can get lonely. Thompson also said it is an ongoing battle to put yourself out there in front of the cameras, continue to work hard, and not see the results you want. Plus, getting criticized for it.
Even if I have tears in my eyes after bad days, the fans are what make the game. They took time out of their life to come support us, even if we shoot 78. I mean, hearing a little girl after 78 saying, "You did great today," that makes your heart melt.
Thompson thanked fans for their support and says she hopes that she has had a positive effect on them. Thompson's plea for mental health comes days after PGA golfer Grayson Murray died of suicide Saturday.
Pro golfer Scottie Scheffler's case is expected to go back to court for a hearing today. Scheffler is facing charges including felony assault on a police officer, criminal mischief, and reckless driving. He was trying to enter the Valhalla Golf Club when an officer grabbed onto his car when he tried to go around a police roadblock to get onto the PGA tournament before the second round. Scheffler says it was all a misunderstanding.
Parents, listen to this. A new study found introducing peanuts to your babies could prevent them from developing an allergy. The National Institute of Health conducted this study. Leaders say feeding children peanut products regularly from when they're an infant to age 5 can help. The result was a reduced rate of peanut allergies in adolescents by more than 70%. Children also didn't have to keep eating peanut products past the age of 5 for this treatment to work.
Imagine driving on a highway next to a semi-truck and you notice nobody is behind the wheel. That's what engineers are racing to perfect: driverless trucks. Sean Langiel takes a look at the future of the trucking industry, including new wireless charging highways.
With a nationwide trucking shortage continuing to impact the industry, companies are eyeing new innovations to ensure consumers get their products fast, especially when online shopping and overnight shipping reigns supreme. So, what do you do when there aren't enough drivers?
So at Aurora, what we're building is a driver.
The American Trucking Association estimates the driver shortage to be roughly 64,000. Officials at Aurora hope their driverless semi-trucks will provide solutions.
The Aurora Driver is this combination of the hardware, the stuff you can see hanging off the side of the truck here, so different sensors like a LiDAR and camera and radar that allow it to see the world, and then some really interesting software that allows it to take that data to figure out how to drive safely through the world.
In a few months, the company plans to have up to 20 driverless trucks carrying goods for FedEx, Uber Freight, and more between Dallas and Houston, Texas. They want to expand across the Sunbelt by 2026.
We want to be out there with thousands or tens of thousands of trucks on the road.
The trucking industry is also trying to make its vehicles greener while speeding up deliveries. Researchers at Purdue University are teaming up with the Indiana Department of Transportation to build a wireless charging roadway. The test section will be armed with electrical conductors. Those can charge EV trucks with special sensors as they drive over them without forcing them to stop.
Providing power from a roadway to a vehicle with the goal of reducing the battery size and eliminating range anxiety.
That was Sean Langiel reporting. Well, the state will start issuing new driver's licenses and IDs. The new cards will be designed to stop fraud. The card will feel stiffer, and officials say when dropped, it'll make a unique metallic sound. It'll also feature the state's flower, which is the dogwood. The current design will be phased out by the end of next month. They will remain valid until their expiration date.
This morning, people will keep cleaning up the debris along the Outer Banks from another house collapse into the ocean. Volunteers were invited to assist in cleaning up along Ocean Drive in Rodanthe this morning. The vacant house collapsed yesterday, and that led to the closure of nearly a mile of the road. It's the 6th house to come down over the past 4 years. Environmental experts say the threat to homes in Rodanthe is only going to increase.
Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb are losing some of their spots in the Major League Baseball record books. Starting today, the league will recognize stats from the Negro Leagues as part of its history. That's put some a new name on top in several categories. Josh Gibson will now be recognized as the all-time leader in batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. He'll also now hold the single-season batting average record. The update will also add to the all-time stats of players, including Jackie Robinson and Willie Mays.
Music fans can enjoy a free summer concert series as Live After 5 returns to downtown Raleigh. And you can bring your family, your friends to Fayetteville Street the last Wednesday of the month. That's when you can enjoy local musicians paying tribute to top female performers. The 4-part series kicks off tonight. That is from 5 to 8 p.m. with Sun Queen Kelsey and the Solar Flares with the 22-string band. Concerts will be the last Wednesday of the month through August, and WRAL is a presenting sponsor.
Coming up, a runway back open after an emergency landing at RDU. What we know about the diverted flight and about another that happened hours before.
And a 21-year-old woman walked into a Durham hospital with a gunshot wound last night. And now police are searching for the person responsible for that shooting.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Time now is 8:26. Happy Wednesday. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We have a beautiful day in store. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner giving us a look around town right now.
So pretty out there. We'll start with a live look at Durham. There's the DBAP, 70 degrees. And then from Dix Park over toward downtown Raleigh, looking pretty. There are a few clouds hanging around. Temperatures are feeling good. 68 in Fayetteville under mostly sunny skies. Heading out the door this morning, you can leave the jackets at home. You might want to grab one tomorrow morning because it's going to be even cooler. It's going to make for some really nice exercise right now. And again, tomorrow morning. But this afternoon, it'll be a little on the warm side with mid-80s under partly cloudy skies. Eric?
Well, taking a look at traffic here this morning, we're continuing to follow this crash on I-87 that's going to have a major impact on your commute if you're driving in from Knightdale, Wendell, or Points East. You can see a live look right here, I-87 at the Neuse River. Within the last couple of minutes, we have seen the tow trucks at work out there. They have towed away one vehicle, working on getting others out of the way. But this is adding about 30 minutes to that drive time, and alternate routes, they're backed up as well. So you're going to want to plan for that if you're headed that way this morning.
Thanks, Eric. A JetBlue flight that made an emergency landing at RDU is now back in Fort Lauderdale. That plane coming from Boston landed at RDU just after 11 o'clock last night. According to FlightAware, it left for Fort Lauderdale this morning at about 4:50. No one was hurt. We're working to find out why that plane was diverted. And a woman is seriously hurt after a shooting in Durham. Officers responded to Guess Road near Broad Street just before 10:30 last night. They learned of a 21-year-old woman walked into a hospital with a gunshot wound. Her injuries are said to be life-threatening. Next on Fox 50, what we know about an armed robbery at a home police are working to make an arrest in. And next on Today, Bruce Willis's daughter, rumor on her life with her father amid his health struggles.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Our muggy meter is sitting at comfy this morning. We do have a stretch of very comfortable weather in our forecast. I'll show you how long it will last.
The 8-year-old son of the couple killed at this intersection here in Garner on Memorial Day will not survive from his injuries, according to family members. Just ahead, a look at some of the vigils happening to remember this family.
And a runway at RDU is back open this morning after a plane had to use it for an emergency landing last night. What we know about that JetBlue flight and another plane that was diverted just hours before. So many other stories we're getting to this half hour at 8:30 here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully your Wednesday is starting off nice. The weather is certainly starting off nice, and it's going to stay nice for the next couple of days. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner with a beautiful blue sky over Warrenton.
Check that out. Nothing but blue sky here in Warrenton this morning. And we're seeing that in a lot of places. There's a little bit of cloud cover in a couple of spots, and there may be some light showers up here around Warrenton and some of our northeastern counties by late this evening, but it'll come and go very quickly. 70 degrees right now in the triangle, our dew point sitting at 59. That's very comfortable. That puts us down in that comfy category, and we'll stay there for the next several days, actually, which is unusual. Typically, as we're rounding up May and heading into June, we're starting to see the temperatures and the humidity climbing. It is still 61 in Roxborough, but 70 in Rocky Mount, 69 in Southern Pines, and 70 in Clinton. So it still feels very comfortable out there. It'll be in the mid-80s for highs this afternoon. We do stay dry for the next 5 or 6 days. I'll show you how we're looking in terms of precipitation for the month coming up. Eric?
Elizabeth, taking a look at traffic, the biggest issue remains this crash on I-87 that we have been following for over an hour this morning. Taking a live look outside right now, you can see it right there on the shoulder, I-87 at the Neuse River. You see RPD units on scene, but there is some good news here. Crews have made a lot of progress getting these vehicles out of the way just in the last couple of minutes. You can see one of those cars loaded on the back of a tow truck there. Still, this is causing some very significant delays. Looking at those traffic sensors, you can see a lot of red on the map here, stretching all the way back here along I-87 back towards Knightdale. Unfortunately, a lot of those alternate routes, whether you want to talk about New Bern Avenue or Pool Road, those are seeing significant delays as well. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to bake this into your commute this morning. Keep a close eye on it. You see those delays right now, 35 minutes as you're coming in from Knightdale. Again, crews are making progress, and we will keep a close eye to see exactly when this crash clears up.
All right, thank you, Eric. A runway at RDU Airport is back open this morning after an emergency landing by a JetBlue flight late last night. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at RDU this morning. And Kelsey, we're still working to learn why that flight was diverted.
Michelle, we are this morning as planes are taking off here at RDU. We're learning more information about what happened here late last night. Airport officials say the runway where that plane had its emergency landing has now reopened. But we'll give you a look now at video from just after 11 o'clock last night when that plane landed. We're working to find out why the flight was diverted here for that emergency landing. We checked FlightAware to find the plane's original destination. We believe this flight was headed to Fort Lauderdale from Boston, according to the site. That plane landed in Fort Lauderdale around 6:30 this morning. So we're working to find out if passengers were on board. RDU says no one was injured during the emergency landing, but we have reached out to JetBlue to see if we can get any additional information, and we're still waiting to hear back. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Thing is, that was the second emergency landing at RDU within hours. RDU management says a small plane was diverted earlier in the evening when its nose gear wasn't working. That prompted other flights to be diverted and delayed. A couple, along with their twin daughters and 4 dogs, were on the plane, and the pilot is a retired Army colonel from the Fuquay-Varina area.
A woman was seriously hurt after a shooting in Durham. Officers were called to Guess Road near Broad Street just before 10:30 last night for shots fired. They later learned a 21-year-old woman walked into a hospital with a gunshot wound. Investigators say her injuries are life-threatening. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker showing the large amount of evidence markers at the scene. This is the second shooting on Guess Road in the last week.
Police in Garner are trying to find a man, they say, who shot a 23-year-old woman. The shooting happened on Avery Street around 9 o'clock last night. Police say the man shot the woman in the arm. They also say he then jumped into a car someone else was driving and they took off. Officers later found that car in Raleigh, but they say no one was inside. The woman, though, is expected to be okay.
A heartbreaking update to a Garner crash that killed 2 young parents. Their 8-year-old son also did not survive. WRAL's Laura Levine explains we got that tragic update from the family late last night.
We are here back at the scene of where the tragedy occurred. The family of Miles Campbell says that he was declared brain dead a little after 6 o'clock last night, and he will become an organ donor. They believe that is what his parents would have wanted. I want you to take a look at this video from Lions Field, where the Little League baseball team that Miles was a part of held a moment of silence and prayer and vigil for the family. Then there was a second vigil at Snap Kick Martial Arts. This is where Miles also spent a lot of his time taking those martial arts classes. The family of the Campbells shared this statement online. Family and friends from both sides of the family want to thank everyone for their prayers, thoughts, and tears through this traumatic time. Tyler, Susie, and Miles were loved beyond what can be expressed in words, and they will be missed tremendously. Garner police say the impaired driver in this case, Jordan Porter, will face additional charges. We will let you know once we learn what those charges will be. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Garner.
Today, the jury in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial will begin their deliberations. That trial will resume at 10 o'clock this morning. The defense and prosecution both wrapped up their closing arguments yesterday. In his closing statement, Trump's lead lawyer tried to paint key defense witness Michael Cohen as a liar. He said the prosecution's case failed to meet the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Prosecutors argue the former president falsified business records to cover up what was essentially an illegal campaign contribution to help him get elected.
Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center going over a brand new release just into our newsroom. A major drug bust in downtown Raleigh. As you take a look at this, North Carolina alcohol law enforcement, after an investigation, they charged 2 employees of Big Easy restaurant and bar in Raleigh and 2 workers along with several patients. Numerous felony and misdemeanor drug charges, including selling marijuana and cocaine. Now, there are several bars involved in this. The employees of the Big Easy are Matthew Brown and Caleb Boyd. Several patrons, I should say, of Big Easy and other bars in downtown were part of this bust here. Big Easy is located on Fayetteville Street there. The investigation also resulted in a search warrant at a home of one of the patrons where they found 9 guns. Investigation that dates back to January is part of a larger controlled substance and alcohol enforcement initiative in the downtown Raleigh bar area.
That's just shocking. Thanks, Jeff. A person was injured after an attempted armed robbery in Wilson's Mills. It happened this morning at about 1:45 at a home on Maple Tree Lane in Wilson's Mills. Police say 2 people entered the home, but they ran off without stealing anything. A person in the home was assaulted with a weapon. They were treated on scene.
The Israeli strike on a displacement camp in Rafah may have been carried out using munitions made in the United States. That's according to explosive weapons experts who viewed video obtained by CNN. The experts say the strike appears to have used a small diameter bomb manufactured by Boeing. At least 45 people died and more than 200 others were hurt in the strike. President Joe Biden says that he is not altering his policy toward Israel. That suggests the Rafah strike did not cross a line that would force changes in American support.
An 18-year-old is in serious condition this morning because someone shot them in Goldsboro. Goldsboro police say they were called to Lincoln Drive just before 11 o'clock last night. They found a person who had been shot. That person was taken to the hospital. Officers also found a home had been hit with bullets. They're working to make an arrest.
Tonight, families can learn more about the dangers of teenage vaping. The state health department is hosting a fireside chat in town hall. Youth advocates and health experts will discuss how parents can identify when their child is vaping. They'll also talk about them quitting and where to get more information. That'll happen from 6 to 7 tonight, and it'll be streamed on the state DHHS Facebook, X, and YouTube accounts.
We're hearing from a passenger who was aboard a Spirit Airlines flight that almost had to make a water landing. What he shares about the intense moments on that flight.
And we now know where the shark capital of the world is. What you need to know about the state with the most unprovoked shark attacks before you plan to make that beach trip.
And we'll take you live out to beautiful sunny Sanford this morning. It's a pleasant day out there. Elizabeth Gardner has a look at the comfortable week ahead.
And taking a quick look outside right now, looking at White Lake. It looks beautiful outside there. No one out in the water just yet, but I wager we're probably going to see some people that are going to be there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking your weather forecast for the week for you here today. Another gorgeous day to enjoy.
And I couldn't resist more water. We take a live look at Lake Gaston. I'll say yesterday at noon, there were a bunch of boats tied up, and Memorial Day was over. But out here at the Point Restaurant. And so we thank them for our camera view here. Absolutely beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky there at Lake Gaston right now. It is 70 degrees in the Triangle, so it feels very comfortable. Our dew point is nice and low, and that will stay the case all the way through until, say, Sunday and Monday. It will be a warm afternoon. We're going to hit 85 for the high temperature, but with a nice low humidity. If you can find yourself a shady spot, it'll feel okay. 85 in Raleigh, 83 in Durham, and 86 degrees in Fayetteville. Checking out our temperatures overnight tonight. We tend to see the coldest temperature of the day in the morning. This time of year, between, say, 6 and 7 o'clock, temperatures will be in the 50s, so you might need to grab a jacket if you're headed out the door tomorrow morning. That is so strange to say as we're about to head into June. But 52 in Roxborough in the morning, 57 in Rocky Mount, 58 in Wilson, and 55 in Siler City. We head south, 59 in Clinton, 58 in Irwin, 57 in Southern Pine, so it is going to feel delightful. And we'll have several mornings with temperatures in the 50s. Here's a look at our temperature. So as we see the blue temperatures sliding in, or those blue color contours, this is where temperatures are below normal. And we'll be, somewhat below normal. You see those blue colors turning a little bit darker. The big change is happening because of the shift in our winds. Over the weekend, we had winds coming off of the Gulf of Mexico and off the Atlantic, so it was warm, it was sticky. We had a lot of fuel for thunderstorms that developed, and a cold front as well. And just nice and quiet now. High pressure is feeding in some cool, dry air from way up to the north, and that's giving us just a nice break from that summer feel that we've had. We're sitting right there comfy with our muggy meter, so it feels great. Typically, we're going to be steamy to tropical once we really settle into maybe mid to late June, and that may continue through July and August. But this muggy meter is looking great right now. Comfy tomorrow and Friday as well as Saturday. And then we start to get into some humidity on Sunday, but then feeling pretty steamy for Monday and Tuesday. Definitely a great day to spend your lunch hour outside. 80 degrees, the temperature at noon, but we'll see such a nice low dew point that it'll feel very comfortable, especially if you can find yourself under an umbrella or maybe, for a walk in the woods or over here in our WRAL Azalea Gardens. 81 tomorrow, 79 on Friday, and we're looking at 82 Saturday. Just beautiful weather. We stay dry until we get to at least early next week. Eric?
Elizabeth, take a look at traffic. Some good news now. That crash that we've been following all morning long out on I-87, that just in the last 5 minutes has finally cleared. You see on the live cam here, all lanes now finally open, and that traffic moving as normal. The one downside, though, the unfortunate thing here is that there are still all of those backups here along I-87 that need to clear out. You can see that right there. It's going to take a while before all of that traffic is moving as normal. As a result, we still have some very significant delays. If you're coming in from Knightdale, Wendell, you see that right there, 40-minute delays that will likely drop over the next couple of minutes, but still something you're really going to want to keep in mind if you're coming from that direction this morning.
A LEGO convention is coming to Durham this weekend, and it is one of several family events happening this weekend. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan is here with an entire list for you. Kathy, let's talk about Legos.
We were talking about Legos earlier. I love Legos. I don't like to step on Legos. That's the thing. Got to pick up the Legos. The Durham Brick Convention is happening on Saturday and Sunday over at Durham Convention Center. This is the ultimate event for Lego fans of all ages, okay? You're going to have Lego artists from around the country. They're going to have their big displays of their creations. They're going to meet with fans. There's even going to be a visit from some of the stars of the Fox show Lego Masters. Tickets are $14.99 and are available for either Saturday or Sunday.
That's so cool. Can't wait to see what people are out there creating and what awesome things will be there. So this is also a big food festival that's happening downtown in Raleigh this weekend. Talk about that.
This is going to be really fun. Okay, the Raleigh International Food Festival is happening in City Plaza on Saturday. From 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., there's going to be all types of different cuisine for sale. More than 50 countries represented. Admission is free, and you just have to pay for your food. So it's a great chance to bring your kids and let them try different things.
See, that's just rude having the food right there in the video, because now I'm hungry, Kathy. And Boxyard RTP is having a birthday celebration this weekend. They plan to have a special tournament happening.
This might be for you. Okay, so on Saturday, Boxyard RTP is having a party for their 3rd birthday. There's going to be family yoga, bubbles, a balloon twister, and a speed puzzling tournament. So if you love jigsaw puzzles, you can compete to see how fast you can do them.
I like a good puzzle, and there's also a pizza joint over there. It is probably one of the best pizzas I have had since I've been here in Raleigh. And for more events coming up this weekend, head to WRAL.com and just search the keyword family.
A family is speaking out about surviving an EF4 tornado in Greenfield, Iowa. This is a look at the damage left behind after it hit that area last week. Melissa Garcia Rodriguez is sharing a video that shows the moment that tornado hit her home.
Come on, dogs. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Good girls. Good girls. Good girls. Good girls. It's okay. Oh.
Oh, that is just terrifying. You can hear those powerful winds in that video. Garcia Rodriguez said her family huddled together in their basement as that tornado tore through their city. She says she thought they were doomed.
I was getting prepared to die because there is no way that in this house it was going to stay, intact. I was just getting ready and being prepared for the pain.
And once they knew they were safe, they came out of their shelter and saw this. Cleanup from the deadly tornado that claimed 4 lives continues. The first funeral services for those who died will be held on Friday and Saturday.
People in East Texas are working to clean up downed trees and power lines after another line of severe storms. You're looking at video from about 100 miles southeast of Dallas. Strong winds toppled trees there, and many of them fell across roads and onto homes. Some people were trapped inside their houses, but thankfully no injuries were reported.
This week's Teacher of the Week comes from a family of educators. WRAL's Ken Smith is in Orange County to surprise Central Elementary School's Teacher of the Year.
Miss Scully, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations.
Hannah Scully is upholding her family's legacy in education. That successful lineage is clearly evident among her third-grade students at Central Elementary in Orange County.
My grandparents, great uncles, aunts, uncles, my mom and dad are both teachers, so we've just always been teachers. And so it's always something I wanted to do.
Scully's inherent ability to teach was evident when she herself was just a student.
Helping even just like friends at school, figuring out a problem, it always was so satisfying to help them understand and know something. And so when I started student teaching and during the summers in high school helping out with kids, I just always loved it. And there was nothing better than that light bulb moment when a kid figures it out. Oh, no, that's the problem.
Those aha moments fill her with joy every day, and it's no wonder she was named Central Elementary's Teacher of the Year this school year.
It means a lot. It's really awesome to be honored by your fellow staff members and colleagues. I was really excited to be even nominated. So this is the first year I'm even eligible, which is really exciting to be chosen. So it felt like a great honor, and my class was super excited, which was cute too.
Ken Smith, WRAL News.
And if you'd like to nominate a teacher, you can go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
We were hearing from a passenger aboard a Spirit Airlines flight that almost had to make a water landing. This happened after an apparent mechanical problem. That plane had just taken off Sunday, headed toward Fort Lauderdale, and that's when it suddenly reversed course and headed back to the airport in Montego Bay. Now, before landing safely on the tarmac, the pilot told passengers to prepare for an emergency water landing. One passenger says people started to panic as they were told to put on life vests.
Everybody on the plane was crying, screaming, praying. It was just a horrible moment.
After the plane landed, passengers boarded a new plane to take them to Fort Lauderdale. And this incident comes as major issues with planes keep making headlines, leaving some travelers a bit uneasy.
An investigation will continue this morning in Youngstown, Ohio, after a gas leak caused the first floor of this building to explode. The blast happened around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, blowing out the bottom floor of a 13-story building. At least 7 people were hurt. One person is in critical condition. People have been asked to avoid that area as the investigation continues.
An Ohio billionaire is starting a new expedition to the Titanic wreckage. Real estate investor Larry Connor says that he is planning to build a submarine with Triton Submarines CEO Patrick Leahy. They want to design one that can make underwater trips to see the Titanic shipwreck starting in 2026. A Wall Street Journal report says Connor came up with the idea just days after the Ocean Gate implosion last year. 5 people died then, you may recall. Connor says that he hopes to show the world that the trips are actually safe.
If you're planning a beach vacation to Florida, you may want to keep this in mind. It was just named the shark capital of the world. That's because most unprovoked shark attacks in the world happen in that state. That's according to the Florida Museum of Natural History. One country in the state has 351 attacks recorded since 1882. The museum's data also revealed that 42% of unprovoked shark attacks last year happened to people who were either surfing or participating in a board sport. And before we head to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic next.